Hello, YouTube. My name is Lagatha Scarlet, and I'm here today to talk to you about a Christmas Yuletime subject that I'm really passionate about, called Do We Really Need to Tell Christians That Christmas is Plagiarized from Pagan Tradition? I live in South Carolina, so the church invitations, the holiday traditions are just everywhere, and it never occurs to anyone for a second that you're not Christian. I mean, they don't even think you might be like Jewish or something else in the Judeo-Christian family. It just doesn't even occur to people around where I live. So it can be a little aggravating when you're passing by the banners and the posters and they keep the Christ and Christmas things to be like, astronomically speaking, Jesus probably wasn't born in the winter time, and Christmas trees are from this pagan tradition, and as are a multitude. And a lot of us feel the need to educate Christians on that aspect of Christmas holidays. I'm all in favor of, wanting people to understand the truth about the history of where things come from. And especially if you feel persecuted as a witch or a pagan where you live, you can sort of feel like, oh yeah, I'm going to hell. Well, fuck you. Your, religious holiday isn't even based off your own traditions. But I don't feel like that actually suits the greater good of the witchy community. First off, I'm not in favor of negativity when expressing spirituality. I don't believe that there is ever a need for a verbal war or opinion war between different types of pagan traditions, between pagans and Christians. I don't think that is a constructive way to communicate. And not just on a spiritual level, on like a human and psychological level. If a conversation takes a turn where other people feel the need to be defensive, they don't have their listening ears on. They have their argumentative defense ears on. So my point to that is that, as with any religion, these beliefs are very deep-seated in Christianity. That it's a joyful time of the year. It's a time of the year that's celebrated. The birth of Jesus as the King of Jews was, kind of a symbol of hope, a symbol that the times might change. In the Bible, it wasn't just like, oh look, there's this baby. It was the symbol that his birth represented initially, and that's part of what the spirit of Christmas is celebrating for Christians, is the symbol of that hope and what that symbol could mean. Now, obviously, since that time, assuming you take that literally, since that time, there have been religious wars and horrible things done in the name of religion. But the point is that the symbol represented something positive. And if you look at somebody who has this deep-seated religious belief and you tell them, oh, well, fuck you, that's not even real, no constructive conversation can come from that. I have never heard of anyone who said that to someone and then the Christian's response been, oh, well, please tell me more about how I should feel like my religious tradition is a lie. It's just not something that is ever hopeful. I've never really seen people walk away from that feeling more respect for the other person's tradition or the other person. I've only ever really seen that beget neutrality at best, hostility at worst. Looking at someone and telling them that their entire belief system is bullshit is not really a way to plant seeds for them to have an open mind, which is what my point is. I think that as we try to communicate with Christians and with other mainstream religions about our belief system, it's not constructive for us to attack them the way that we have been attacked. Because if we're coming at it from, this is a greater spiritual truth, this is a better path to enlightenment, we're really not representing that very well when we come at it in a catty, bitchy way like that, from that place of negativity. But that is just my opinion and why I don't believe that's constructive. I think that as a witch, you can openly celebrate the winter solstice and Yule right alongside with the Christians celebrating Christmas. If you want to know a little bit more about that, check out the December issue of CoffeeTable Coven. And I wrote an article about openly celebrating Yule as a closeted witch, but I believe those opinions can relate to anybody else. And if you're hearing this video and you're like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, the truth is that a lot of Christmas traditions were appropriated and I feel the need to spread that message, then I'm really interested in your perspective on that. So if you are watching this video on YouTube, please feel free to share your opinion on this in the comments section. If you want to have a dialogue with a Christian about Yule traditions and how they tie into Christmas, then I like approaching a Christian, if we're talking about Christmas trees, for example, and saying, oh, well, did you know historically Christmas trees were also this, and that about this tradition? And then a lot of times people can absorb that information. They can kind of plant the seed of that factoid without me being like, this Christmas tree has nothing to do with Christmas. You see how there's a difference there? Providing somebody information in a way that they can kind of marry it. You can believe that Christmas trees were used in this pagan tradition and still think it's a Christmas tree. But when I'm like, you can't call it a Christmas tree because it's really this over here. Do you see like the conversational difference that I'm trying to explain here? So my point is, I'm an advocate of talking about the history of the tradition, talking about how other religions use the traditions without pointing out the verbiage of, and FYI, Christians stole this. Or this is why the Christian church absorbed it to try to convert pagans or to try to piggyback off of the other celebrations that were happening at this time. But like I said, I'm really interested in how you talk about Yule and pagan traditions around Christmas time. So if you disagree, or even if you agree but have a different perspective, or whatever your opinions are about this topic, I'm really hoping this video kind of prompts a dialogue about this. Because as there's more and more witches and pagans out there, I think it's really important for us as a community to talk about how we represent those beliefs to other people. So please comment below, click the link to my Instagram, and feel free to comment on my Instagram. Feel free to do a response video. It'd be really cool if there were lots of video responses, kind of like how there were some video responses to Barefoot Taurus's Why I'm Not a Light Worker. That might not have been who did that. So if I'm super wrong about that, just ignore that. I think this would be really cool. So feel free to do your own video response, like send it to me on social media so I can add it to a playlist. And hopefully, no matter what your religion or spiritual tradition, we can have like positive, groovy vibes during this winter season. So feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check me out on Instagram. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.